We are very excited. The Suppression of Sound, an evening with Thomas Sayers Ellis and James Brandon Lewis. Saxophonist and composer Jason Brandon Lewis is based in New York City. He earned an MFA at the California Institute of Art, where he worked with legendary bassist Charlie Haydn. His first album, Moments, was released in 2010, and Divine Travels is forthcoming and features collaborations with museums William Parker and Gerald Cleaver, and the poet Thomas Sayers Ellis. We're delighted that he could be here to perform tonight, and we're hoping that Thomas will tell us a little bit more about their collaborative work together. Thomas Sayers Ellis is electric and natural, spontaneous and crafty. He is, as he says, enemy of all things flat, fixed, and finished. He's been called a literary threat. And he's all about taking risks, eliminating boundaries, making noise, and stretching and renewing language.
We'll test the stage out first. Just in case James is feeling like James Brown this evening. Guess who's back? I feel like I should say that it's good to be home. It may be more my home than many of yours, so I welcome you. Thank you to everyone who had a hand in this and everyone in the audience who's had a hand in my creative spirit life. You know, we're going to try to do a poem night that's about we. So it really is about the gathering, which is the gift, which is the accident, which becomes the aim, and so I think I knew I met you 2 years ago, right? And this is what we decided. We decided that the poems in my last book and some other books, because they owed a lot to the oral tradition, needed also an oral life beyond knock knock book. Yeah, that's what we decided? Yeah. And we talk a lot. We do. All right. This is for Chinua Achebe, AWS Ode. So long, a letter, the slum-numbered spines, and night fell, bright as the will to die, or the joys of motherhood. Its beautiful feathers, black and white in love, the wound is proof of how terrible orange is, black sunlight. Here is Nerudan sardines, but beware soul, brother, the 13th son is a child of two worlds, a hammer blows its ambiguous adventure, because of women, a woman in her prime, Zambia shall be free. The smoke that thunders like a sunset in Biafra, Robben Island regret is worse than local town neglect. Girls at war with a question of power, like Ifuru and Idu, survive the peace, like wrong ones on the dock. The mangy dog we killed detained interpreters. A blade among the boys, bound to violence, ripples in the pond. Maybe the mourned one was a naked needle, riding on the whirlwind, a man of the people. Maru, bewitched Maru, going down the river road, eating chiefs. Their dead roots will kill you quicker than this earth, my brother. The barbed wire satellites, a simple lust, the smell of it, ordained by the miracle. Remember Rubens' masterful use of silhouette. Small pass books with powerful faces, passports, Where I am an ill-fated people, the grass is singing, not even God is ripe enough. Devil on the cross, my Mercedes is bigger than yours. Your narrow paths, uneven ribs. Some short century for sure. The busiest political spiderweb in nature, and this most difficult thing to hold together was held together by Heinemann, the healer of God's bits of wood. James. Somewhere in the aesthetic, there's a sense of self-defense that I feel like in my tradition you have to overcome in order to just to get on board or to be considered equal. Thus this. Unarmed, bent upward at the elbow, so the blow slides off. Wanted so bad back then to hit back, but didn't dare ever strike their intense, twisted spin, their rude, loose leaf paged air. First they conjugate you, then you die. Them laying out by their lonesome, blocking sun, you shirtless, serving drinks. One of the brown things they bleach, eat. If punctuation were a punch, I'd publish line breaks of fist. Sorry, I know, cracker and honky hurt, but nothing fruits a noose like the N-word, white acceptance or revolt. No more little boxes stacked like the ones in poems. No more little boxes stacked like the ones in poems. A deeper sense of verse, free skin. I'm not really in this thing I'm in. I'm it. Born in the morning to reform form's broken economy. To sit in, and to sit in the margin. Journey, performance, allegory, ignorant comfort, worship, reform, so chorus, electoral corruption, important thoughts of Europe, worry, neighbor, fear of terror, border, organized minorities, organized minorities, minorities, organized, A-E-I-O-U, I-O-U, Y-I-O-I-U, organized, show off. Wait. This is for all my friends who are forced to make that terrible, terrible contemporary aesthetic decision between the page and the stage. I feel sorry for them. No easy task. Our names were more than our own, our dramas too. And as if the craft of our inherited calling had only two camps of blackness, academic and spoken word. Our best work, the work for all work, had to work on the page if we wanted to be published, and on the stage if we wanted to be recorded. But mostly we just wanted to be whole, respected and known, and heard, reviewed and enjoyed as in the tradition of variation, and a loud noise followed by many louder ones, and not always as lonely as an I, and not always as burdened as a we, and never anyone's token, hyphen, bridge, honorary anything, or literary pad, even if the readers weren't reading what we were scribbling, and the readers weren't listening to what we were spinning, even if an open mic never opened an open book, haters, and an open book never booked an open mic, favors, an ironic browbeat, if you a sonnet, if you a star, you wish you were higher, a sermon, inter-audience. The audio antithesis of academia, wearing text to talk and talk to text. How? Entertainment, poor folk prosody, oral jewelry, flow. The problem with American poetry is there's not enough Africa in it. Bling bling has more rhythm and imagery than both Dickmans. At the edge of subject, poetics. At the center of subject, prose. The uneven rhythms of verse. Ha! With its progression of resurrections, reverses, outdated show-offs like villanelles and sestinas, pretending not to perform, costume form, the content of character, not the shape of content, shapes form. There's no such thing as formlessness. There's no such thing as formlessness. There's no such thing as formlessness. Less applause. There's no such thing as formlessness. There's no such thing as formlessness. All poems performed. I told you we should do that one, sir. Thank you. When he's not pushing my poems, he's one of the talented young avant-garde saxophonist in New York. So here he is, James Brandon Lewis. I grew up in Washington, D.C., but my family's from more down south than that. But I had an uncle who would always say to me when I was a kid, "You yellow, you gotta be something." Or he would say, if you were a light-skinned black person and you didn't do extremely well, it was a waste of yellow. This is a waste of yellow. Do it again, because you don't know what I'm going to cut in. Surprise you. Up there, the uppity sun, a thick summer, low luminance, same complexion as honey. What's his name? James. Long life, the reach of history, its simmering skin of variance, lightly darkened or darkly lightened. Come on, y'all. Bridge. That's your part. Emancipation takes practice. Such a naturalist, you mistranslate heat into hate every garden. What's his name? James! Hold up. What's his name? James! Oh, there we go. James! If nature wants to lighten brown, let nature lighten brown. James, bridge! My name's not on any of the cotton I own. The earth used to be caramel. Earth used to be caramel. Huh? Backwards? Can you go backwards?
Yeah, let's try it.
Bridge! The earth used to be caramel. My name's not on the cotton I own. If nature wants to lighten brown, such a naturalist, you mistranslate heat into every garden. Practice, emancipation takes bridge. Lightly darkened or darkened lightly, variance of skin simmering, its history of reach. The long life, what's his name? Honey, ass complexion, same luminance, low summer, thick a sun, uppity, the thereof, yellow of waster. They got it. He forgot his name. Why, thank you, young man. It can't be all academic. There was a magazine in South Africa, right, years ago, Drum Magazine. I'm sure we heard of it in Drum Magazine. And I was a reporter for Drum, and I won't go into his whole story, but he used to uncover injustices all over the place, and they found him dead after maybe a year of investigative journalism. Talk about him in the back of the book, but this poem is for him, and it's called Mr. Drum. They beat me, to weaken me, not to imitate breathing, for pleasure, not nutrition, in the manner of recreation, in the manner of misguided ritual, out in the open, in secrecy, more of them than me, their kind, their kin, their reasoning, them forcing themselves on me, their bodies, their thinking and their feeling, all over me, the global nerve of them. Local hands, local skills, local ideas, in the name of support, in the name of development, in the name of dominance, they beat me. Same way they disguise authority, same way they hide diplomacy. In their empty empire, full of markets, full of forecasts, full of investments, invasion, and polls and debt, their tempo, their exchanges, their rates, property up, bodies down, all organized into work, evaluation and performance, trade and promotion, the way they employ others, your limbs, their order, the colonial genre, your useless usefulness, a non-profit. That's how bad they beat me before I was born, before I was my own. The beatings owned me, owned my rest from the rules of labor, second guess, show up late, protest, all rallies inside, beaten out beneath my skin I could barely figure out and barely feel while in, beneath religion, the sin I was given, beneath intimacy, beneath community, beneath integrity, beneath all depths of me, their fear. My new arrival, their feet, ancestry and annotation, my percussive human arithmetic, sum of their fear became me, of them subtracting me, a pre-ordered divided eye, return surrender to inferior cinder, I believe I superior, like I was before identity, before I was dented, before the Atlantic was formatted, made water commodity, made humans material, machine made me, made more like them, made less me, made here, in this bed with agreement, in their cold world image, compromised by jurisdiction, by the limits of their ways of living, need something more earthly than meaning, something to fill the puncture in the ceiling. But with the body I belonged, I was volume, I was form, shaped, contained, labeled, and with the label came value. The worst beatings beat me into worth, the decline of the integrity of my own likeness. My oral wouldn't pour. They televised my fall. That's how bad they beat me. Till nature refused me. Till nothing came out of me. Till I was raiding my own repair crew. Not just the tube's toolbox. My own brew of unapologetic fixins. Ready to cut into luxury. To option the agenda of economy. To outlaw profit. I count. To count. To be more than counted, the body has to counter crowd, counter country. If rhythm begins at the R, where meter ends, then meter must end. They beat me, hacked me into lines, into margins, into branches. The vernacular owl, a world narrow Wi-Fi of wildlife, life wild, the Caucasian sky. Press it. Lighten it up a bit. Poem for a kid. This is about food. Let's just say that. Kid's name's Prophet. I'm Nani. Godzilla's avocado. Tonight, Prophet is helping Nani make creatures. The term she cooked up for muscles. I am Nani. Her fake baby daddy. The one she got her style from. Not her soft and buttery bottom lip. That came from mommy. Nanis see things differently. Waffles, brown skin, Lady Liberty, making us all healthy. Holding up her green flame of asparagus. Prophet's a bean eater, a yummy kingpin critter. Run, edamame, run. The same sun that rises in orange juice sets in mac and cheese. From a lumpy russet swirling in a cosmos of miso, colors mashed into casserole. Kids love kitchens. The sushi chef re-ending monsters with embassy precision. Life's raw rolls, ready to unravel the difficult answers. We wrap in seaweed. Love is when two people like the same food and the same toys. But war is when lots of people dress up like salads and eat each other. Messy imagination. All meals need metaphors, poems, cutting boards. An artichoke's heart does not pump ketchup, it pumps pesto, orly, olive clots and guacamole. Prophet is learning to grow things, including time, real time, some sense of the vitamins of radiance, the seedling on the windowsill, slow to trust sun. Kids love nature. Things smaller than them, like mushrooms cooked into clouds, radiation, cooling time, rushing food, hurts the body. Pesticides are a big deal. Poor bees, the microwave, hive sphere, our silver age of dining. These are what I call crank-shaped notes. Much has been said about my quote-unquote percussive aesthetic or behavior, but you know, when you grow up in a place where visibly or invisibly you're constantly being hit or challenged, just sort of automatically dents and shapes prosody. So I don't know what these are, other than that they are I've always wanted one of those Paul Valéry's measure test, or one of those, you know, Auden's, the devour, what is the prolific and the devour, between marriage and heaven and hell, Blake, all that. So this is my 2 cents worth. Crank-shaped notes. Money burns the pocket. Pocket hurts. I didn't tell anyone. I just started practicing, rolling and hitting the 3 round rototoms in my room. Never mind how I got them or how much they cost. I covered them with towels and thin blankets to keep the noise down. It was important, I knew then, to get my arms in order, to get free. I'd already had karate and drawing in me. I loved the discipline in the form of taekwondo, and I loved to sketch. The real work of training my wrists would hopefully come later, as with learning the rudiments, accents, and strokes. I could tell the difference by sight and ear between those who had drama in their style of play and those who had grace. I wanted both. To build the bridge, hear the debris, and cross it. A percussive way of sense is not a rhythmic way of sense, but a rhythmic way of sense can be a vocal way of sense. When the humid wind cries, we see. I know you're gonna be there this weekend. Washington's famous humidity is not a result of the city being built on the swamp. The sweltering tension comes from the hot chop barbecue between local and federal interests. They eat on a hill, we beat on a river. What a groove feels like. A neck so sensitive, it demands choke. Good itch scratching. Back and forth. Like a hardness only flow can stroke. You owe me one more of those. Our home is unique because it is the seat of the government. The term government is just a political man-made name for drumming. It should be called drummerman. The drum lets the drummer sit in the seat, but the drummer is responsible for its own proper counsel in the streets. A coalition. A good coalition is like a good seamstress, making sure every pocket has at least 3 pairs of talking hands in it. A crank note is not the opposite of a car note. A crank note hurts the pocket. A car note locks it. Crank say. They say crank can't say that. Can't say its own shape. Shape say crank can. Crank can say. Crank can shape and crank say. Thanks. Thank you for being crank shape. You're welcome. Crank. Thanks say that. Out in the clothes. Hi-hat open. You're welcome. What if the main ingredient in crank is race? To destroy the content of crank, trace the shape of the black body with white chalk, then call it art. I don't have a dream, but I do believe the crank wakens us. So they keep giving them things. Small things, local things, things they never had. Things like parks and murals and art openings. Even as it was becoming harder for them to hear themselves and feed themselves and clothe themselves and school themselves and help themselves. Impossible in their own pockets, impossible and illegal, even as they were dying, being shut down and not reading and dancing at funerals and showing up for reunions. They kept giving them things, everything they needed except the state of equal humanhood. About bebop, about bebop. Well, it wasn't until I was standing next to one of our drums along the Potomac, raising and lowering a tambourine like a wreath around the neck of a poem, that I finally and fully realized the truest possibility of the pocket and its contents. The pocket is a citizen of change, and the percussive definition of locket is love. Thank you. Poet Robert Hayden has a poem called Astronauts in his book, American Journal. And in that poem, he actually coins a term, absolute otherwhere, which just seems to me so fitting for that condition of that type of alienation, or any type of alienation, certainly the type he was describing. Absolute otherwhere. This is a poem about we, and we're going to help you with this one. For instance, that collective pronoun, that's it right there, that's the we. Like I was talking about the one and funk, that's the we. We're going to invent the we. Can we get the we? Huh? All right. We could do we real cool. We let's go. We could go anywhere from here. We could do we. That's y'all, right? We could do we all night. We could in the reading. We could. We could do it again. We could. We don't want you though. I'm gonna add some meter to that. Here we go. We know there's a recognizable we, an identifiable many. That right there, that's me. One of the us from us who see us. We retreat to attack, and otherwhere of others who are other than other. Equality will skin you if don't exceed is been. If I had a partner, I could waltz. Been told before you forgot, before you hadn't been to, barely matters where, after you didn't get back to, before being left out. There are small black settlements throughout every alphabet, whipped after work for smothering the cannon with cocoa butter. Got a gift for you, wheat sales aside. There's more to words than becoming books. A challenge wrote you aside, add yours. That's a lot of we. Watch this. W-E-B, woo, we be Du Bois, be Du Bois, again, they don't got it, we, W-E-B, be Du Bois, we be, they hate the verb to be, we be, who we be, We be Du Bois, we be Du Bois, we be Great Barrington, motherfucker! I grew up in Washington, D.C. You know, I've seen the thing change over the years, and it's always changing. The city's always changing. And I think I was home for AWP 3 years ago. And Bois and Poets, we know it pretty much. I don't know how we all know what that is already, but for some reason we all know what it is already. And that might be part of my problem with Bois and Poets. However, they had a cardboard cut of Langston Hughes as the famous picture of him as a busboy on the tray in the lobby. You know, in a tourist town where DC makes tourists out of even native Washingtonians, folks would come in and stand next to Langston and smile and get that picture with that busboy. Now, that might be okay in some places and pockets of the tradition, but in the way that I own and inherit and feel a certain type of allegiance, right or wrong, I just couldn't have that happening down the street from my mama's house. And you know, I knew that Bois and Poets, they pull in a lot of money, they're franchising. I never read poetry there. I tend to say no, so close to home. And I always feel like, you know, let the younger poets do their thing, you know? They were paying like $25 to poets, you know? And so I thought, how are they riding the legacy that way and photographing Langston as a little mascot? Now, do I have a problem with the fact of Langston ever having been a busboy? No. He was a worker. He was a worker in a nice white outfit. I never went to work in a nice white outfit, okay. But we were in town, I was feeling it, so I took the cutout of Langston Hughes. Well, I didn't run, I didn't sneak, I picked it up, the car was parked right out front. We went outside, I had the keys, I opened the trunk, and I tossed Langston in the trunk, and I came back into the restaurant and I ate. And a few days later, I'm leaving town, Langston in the backseat, people wanted back to New York. My honoring is a certain cultural worker in DC, poet, whatever. We have you on video taking Langston, you better bring it back. I said, you have me on video? I'm not bringing it back. I said, well, the Washington Post is going to call you. I said, well, what's their number? So I called the Washington Post and I took it. And I did take it. Then it got really stupid, you know. Why, Mr. Ellis is a racist. He took it. He has no right. He doesn't speak for poets. Blah, blah. Not to say that. Anyway, yes, I do still have it. I've been offered lots of money. I've been offered to have them put into exhibits. Photographers call me and say, you want to photograph the Flat Langston? Me and Flat Langston are doing well. As a matter of fact, I moved to San Francisco to teach this year. I took him with me. And he's still flat, and he shouldn't be flat. You know, I have a dream that I will be able to do a sort of let us now praise famous men meets the cantons. Not that everybody has that dream. And it's called Folk Reporter. And I'm a big chunk of it, but as you know, Peter, I know you know, when you start a monster, it's just a monster right now. But I was talking about it at dinner, saying that I want to be one of those, and I'm going to let this out, so I know that if someone else does this in the next year, you're snitched. I want my book to say, and then on the acknowledgments page, none of these poems appeared anywhere. Were not sold to anyone. Boom. So I'm not showing or giving away or publishing any of them. I'm just trying to learn it. And I would like to be a different poet this next time. I would like my life to change before I give something else away. And I don't know that I'm that much different than I was in Skinny. Yeah.
We met each other in a residency, and you know, I thought he was cool, one of the more cool cats at the residency. You know, there was a lot of stiff people there. And I thought he was cool, so that's how it started.
That's side A, that's the B side. I was walking in the woods, and there was this noise. I didn't know who it was. No. I mean, I'm a gatherer. Like I meet you, and then we'll go to a movie. You don't have to have a saxophone, right? If you got half an idea, I can learn something from you. And I'm that person. I'm thinking something dark and black and start up like, oh, you come over here, you come over here. So, I heard James, and I heard him making a noise, and I heard him being alive. And I heard that, you can't not be drawn to it. And I always remember, I talk a lot of trash in my book about the written tradition versus the oral tradition. And I say a lot of stuff, and it's not, with most poets, it's like, that's the speaker, not the poet. But with my work, it's always this him. And that may be the way I may be a victim of the way I either use the toolbox or shun the toolbox. And so, Jamie just saying, how can I put it? What is it? I can't. Remember what the Joker says in Batman? To Batman, you complete me. There might be some of that. It's fun. Fun is completion sometimes, right? They don't forget I said that. Yes. Really? We got a lot of art to see. Thank you for listening.